Shalom Aleichem, or peace be upon you. My name is Rabbi Joshua Korber. I'm one of the rabbis at congregation Beth Tzedec. Beth Tzedec is the largest Jewish congregation in Calgary. It's where I work. I also am the host of a YouTube video called Yo Rabbi. If you have questions about Judaism, you can email yorabbi170@gmail.com. One of the most important concepts in Judaism is the concept of memory. What you see behind me is the wall of memorial plaques. On each plaque is written the name of someone who's deceased and the year of their passing and the date of their passing as well. That date is referred to as their yard site. So on their yard site, we'll light a small light next to their name, and family members will come to the synagogue to both pray for that person's souls and to honor that person, to honor the concept of memory and our connection to family members. Let's go check out the main sanctuary. The main sanctuary is used for prayers, but it's used for many other things as well. We have an annual film festival, which we screen films in this room. We have keynote speakers, we have scholars in residence, and we use the space for that as well. The main times when we'll use this space for prayers is the high holiday services and our regular Saturday morning services, which are structured around the reading of the Torah. Most people will show up on a Saturday morning and they'll be showing up in time to hear the scriptures be read. Jewish prayer is extremely structured and extremely scripted. It's all based on various parts of the Hebrew Bible, which Christians refer to as the Old Testament. But there's still a lot of room for variation and creativity within the traditional prayer service. So traditional synagogues may have a wide variance in what they do and how they sing the songs, and yet the underlying structure will remain the same. I personally love coming into this space because when I come into this space, I can really feel a higher vibration and a higher consciousness. That said, this space has no inherent value aside from the Torahs that are housed in the ark behind me. That is to say, that a Jewish sacred space is not sacred in and of itself. What makes a Jewish holy space holy is the Torah. One of the most fundamental things in Judaism is the Shabbat, perhaps the most fundamental. Shabbat takes place between Friday at sundown until Saturday at sundown, as Jewish days begin at night. The Shabbat has its roots in the story of Genesis, which records God as having rested on the seventh day after 6 days of creation. So too, we are commanded to work for 6 days, to create, to make, to do, to act in the world, and on the seventh day, take a day out. Take a day to stop acting. Take a day to stop trying to have an effect on the world and rather just sit and be and take the effects of the world in. It's a time of spiritual reflection. To cease trying to do is a fundamental spiritual act. There are two things we're commanded to do about Shabbat. There's shamor, which is to refrain from action, and there's zachor, which is to actively remember or mention the Shabbat. The latter is executed by means of sanctification over wine. So typically, food and drink are essential to Shabbat. Spending time with family, spending time with our spouse, intimacy, and prayer and meditation. These are all typical Shabbat activities. Shabbat is personally important for me as I came into Judaism through meditation and also through various holistic energetic practices. And what I would notice was that on Shabbat, the feeling of higher consciousness and higher vibration was much stronger and much more acute. And it was through these practices that I was able to tell that there is something quite significant spiritually about stopping on Shabbat. And this is something very important that I've come to learn in life. And now we're going to go check out the social hall. Another very significant value in Judaism is the value of hospitality. And to that effect, we use our full-size social hall to host many, many meals. over the course of any given week. A kosher meal is also a significant concept in Judaism. What makes food kosher? Kosher means suitable for consumption. And so it falls into several categories. There's kosher and non-kosher animals. That is, there's certain species we can and cannot eat. Within the animals that we can eat, there's a certain method of slaughter that's prescribed and a very, very careful and meticulous method by which we have to handle that meat after slaughter. Then one further step is the separation of dairy and meat. And to that effect, in this synagogue, we have two full industrial-sized kitchens, one for dairy and one for meat, so that dairy and meat never come into contact with one another. Besides meals, we also have dance parties. As you can see, there's a little hardwood dance floor underneath those carpetings. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of Beth Tzedec today. Thanks for stopping by. Again, my name is Rabbi Korber, and feel free to contact me if you have any other questions about Judaism. In Hebrew, we don't say goodbye. We say shalom, which means peace, or we say lahitraot, which means I'll see you again.